Fox 61 breaking news now.
Now at 6, we continue with breaking news in New Britain, where a shooting ended in a car crashing into a building. Thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Brent Harden.
And I'm Annette Montgomery. Now, that chaotic incident happened this afternoon on Arch Street. That's where we find Fox 61's Kay Pattyfoot live now. Kay, you spoke with neighbors in the area. What did they tell you?
They said that they saw two men fleeing on foot. Now behind me, you can see a chaotic scene. This white car into the building, and the EMS chief told me they were working inside and they heard a lot of noise outside and they heard gunshots. And when they came out, this is what they found. Now I'm gonna step out of frame just so you can see the damage to this car. New Britain police say when they got here, New Britain EMS personnel located a male passenger inside the vehicle suffering from apparent gunshot wounds. The victim was alert and conscious and was transported to a local hospital for treatment. EMS personnel also reported that two individuals fled from the vehicle prior to the police arrival, like I just said, and officers are here. They are actively investigating the scene. And also I want to point out the cars that are driving back and forth, some of them are actually slowing down to see what happened. The EMS chief tells me nothing like this has happened in a long time. Live in New Britain, Kay Pattyfoot, Fox 61.
Okay, thank you. Now to our top story here at 6. A downed power line disrupted a Naugatuck neighborhood this morning. Officials say a live wire fell and energized a chain link fence. The whole incident sparked multiple fires and knocked out power near the Animal Control Center.
Fox 61's Jamel Johnson now joins us with the latest.
The power is back on in this neighborhood on Cherry Street, but some damages still remain from here down to the Animal Control Center behind me, where officials had to move animals out of the building to a neighboring animal shelter to keep them safe. Neighbors who live here say they started to smell smoke around 9 a.m. That smoke came from trees near Animal Control. Eversource said this downed power line energized fences at the Animal Control building. The voltage going to these fences sparked the fires. Animal Control officers moved all of the animals to Oxford Animal Shelter while firefighters knocked down the flames. One man who lives nearby said the power line across the street from his house goes down at least once a year. He said he's never seen a situation quite like this. The power outage extended beyond Cherry Street. Some areas of High Street had no power, and all of Cross Street was in the dark. Cross Street School dismissed early as a result. Now, no one was hurt as a result of the fire, and all of the animals from the shelter are okay. Shortly after the down line was repaired, power was restored. In Naugatuck, Jamel Johnson, Fox 61.
Now to a breaking news update. An Enfield man was busted yesterday after police found a World War II mortar round in his home, along with several other weapons. Now his neighbors are speaking out and sharing their thoughts. Fox 61's Alicia Hercules spoke with people who called the discovery concerning.
The neighborhood is peaceful once again after a large police presence. And now neighbors tell me it's scary to know that someone in their neighborhood had dangerous weapons inside their home.
It's really, really concerning to have people like that around.
Lauren Bousquet says she was shocked to learn what happened.
I have two small children that live in this town and they play outside all the time.
Police say they removed a World War II era mortar, several guns, knives, and ammunition from Donald Batronis's home. Bousquet's neighbor, Sam Martin, says he couldn't believe how many police cars he saw.
I was telling my sister this morning, I said, this is a nice neighborhood. I could not imagine something like that happening.
Enfield police say they were investigating a complaint involving a man who they say threatened violence towards workers at the new Amazon facility job site. Officers went to Batronis's home to interview him. At first, they say he was uncooperative, but he later allowed them entry into the home so they could take his firearms as the investigation continued. While inside, officers found at least one World War II era mortar round.
Later in the evening, I saw the bomb squad come in.
The bomb squad was called in to look at the device and ensure the home was safe. People within 500 feet of the home were advised to either shelter in place or leave the area. The advisory was lifted hours later. Bousquet says she was completely unaware of the incident until after.
We were not informed.
Although she doesn't live within 500 feet of the home, she wishes police made her and other neighbors aware of the shelter-in-place order.
And I think it's really important that people are informed about these things, especially when there is somebody with maybe some mental health issues and some weapons that they're hiding in their house. It's important.
Here's some news to help ease the fears of people living in the area. Investigators say the mortar round was inactive. Police are still investigating. In Enfield, Alicia Hercules, Fox 61.
New tonight, 6 correctional officers were injured after officials say they were assaulted by an inmate. According to the State Department of Correction, it happened at the Cheshire Correctional Institution after they discovered contraband inside an inmate's cell. Officials say that inmate went to the officer's station and hit 2 officers in the face. After additional officers responded, they were able to secure the inmate. Officials tell us 6 officers were injured and 4 were taken to the hospital. Tonight, Connecticut State Police are now investigating.
Well, the court case of former New Haven Police Chief Carl Jacobson has been continued. Jacobson was arrested in February, accused of embezzling more than $85,000 in police funds. He pleaded not guilty last month. Jacobson's arrest warrant accused him of betting more than $4 million over the course of a year and losing more than $200,000 of it. Jacobson is expected back in court again on August 4th. All right, time for a look at the weather here. It's starting to actually feel like June is supposed to feel. Things warming up this week. Chief Meteorologist Rachel Frank is here with a check of the forecast. Rach?
Yeah, we're already starting to feel that turnaround today because we started off the day with temperatures in the 40s. We even set a new record for the low temperature for this day of 40 degrees in Windsor Locks. But after a cold start to the day, it was a warmer finish. High temperatures returned into the 70s, and that's where we are still for most of the state, with the exception of Groton at 63 degrees. Overnight lows will settle back into the 40s to near 50 degrees, so it is still going to be a chilly, refreshing start to the day tomorrow, but it's not going to be as cold as this morning was. By noon, temperatures are in the upper 70s, and high temperatures tomorrow inland will be in the lower and maybe even some mid 80s as we head through the afternoon. Along the shoreline, temperatures will be in the upper 70s for Branford and for Guilford. And I did want to mention southeastern Connecticut will be cooler still with mid 70s for Mystic and Stonington, but it warms up quickly as you head farther inland. We'll take a look ahead at when temperatures approach 90 coming up.
Thank you, Rach. Clashes between law enforcement and protesters have brought nationwide attention to an immigration detention center in Newark, New Jersey. Lawyers for some of the detainees say the conditions inside are inhumane, and now the state of New Jersey is suing the private company that owns that facility. Jen Sullivan has the details.
Barricades and federal agents lined outside this ICE detention center in Newark, New Jersey Tuesday. For more than a week, crowds have been protesting outside Delaney Hall, alleging those inside are being mistreated.
And we believe that it should be shut down because we have actual irrefutable evidence now that the place is uninhabitable.
The mayor of Newark now threatening to expand the state's lawsuit against the private company that operates the detention center unless city officials are allowed inside to inspect it.
They cannot be shielded by a contract that they have with Homeland Security.
Questions about alleged mistreatment began after hundreds of detainees went on a hunger strike to protest what they call dirty conditions, a lack of sufficient food, and overcrowding inside the detention, according to their representatives. The Department of Homeland Security has repeatedly denied there was a hunger strike and other allegations. At times, anti-ICE protests have turned violent, so the mayor implemented a curfew. Safe zones have been set up for protesters, and New Jersey State Police are assisting ICE.
When they did show up, they quickly realized these aren't peaceful protesters.
The allegations in Newark are raising greater questions about detainee mistreatment at ICE centers across the country as the Trump administration cracks down on illegal immigration.
Immigration enforcement in this country, it should be fair, just, and humane.
Jen Sullivan, Fox 61.
North Branford police have arrested a Meriden man and accused him of sexually assaulting a child. 39-year-old Oscar Ramirez now faces 2 counts of first-degree sexual assault. Police say they arrested him 2 days in April of last year. Police say the months-long investigation was a multi-agency effort. They did not give specifics as to what Ramirez is accused of doing. He was held on a $75,000 bond and taken to New Haven for his arraignment.
3 people are recovering from minor injuries after a 7-vehicle crash in Middlebury. It happened just before 7 this morning on I-84 near exit 17. According to state police, a driver attempting to change lanes triggered a chain reaction crash with 7 vehicles, including 1 vehicle that rolled over. 3 drivers were taken to the hospital for minor injuries and 2 lanes were closed, but they have now reopened.
State police are investigating after a small plane had to make an emergency landing after taking off from Simsbury Airport. They haven't confirmed where the plane landed or given any other details. As a matter of fact, right now, state police are investigating what caused that emergency landing.
And take a look. 5 people were taken to the hospital yesterday after this crash in Higganum. Around 3:20 in the afternoon, 3 cars collided near the Dollar General on Killingworth Road. Officials tell us 4 people were driven to the hospital and 1 was flown by helicopter. Tonight, Connecticut State Police are still investigating what happened.
California voters will make key decisions in today's primary election, including who will advance in the race for governor and Los Angeles city mayor. If California were its own country, it would be the world's 4th largest economy. So a lot of people are watching that gubernatorial race, especially because current Governor Gavin Newsom is not running for re-election. Also, Eric Swalwell dropped out in April and resigned from his U.S. House seat following sexual misconduct and assault allegations. As for Los Angeles, the 2nd most populous city in the country, incumbent Mayor Karen Bass faces a re-election challenge from numerous candidates, including former reality TV personality Spencer Pratt.
The key issues for Los Angeles in this election tend to really still be around homelessness and the number of people who are living on the streets, policing and whether or not we should increase the amount of police, but also affordability.
Now, California uses a jungle primary system. That means the top 2 finishers, regardless of party, will advance to the general election in November.